Hi guys, how y'all doing? I just got home from work a little bit ago, and I was trying to, I couldn't physically watch the game. I mean, I saw bits and pieces when I'd step into some of the places that I was dropping my stuff off at. But overall, I wasn't able to watch, all of the game. But we have a champion, the Colorado Avalanche. They won the Stanley Cup for the first time since 2001, which is why I thought it'd be fitting to wear my 2001 Ray Bourque jersey for this. And yeah, boy, did they deserved it. They really did. They worked hard. They were without a doubt the best team in the league the entire year. They were fantastic, and and kudos to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They did something that has not been done since the mid '80s. They made 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals. They won 2 of them. First time that's ever been done in the salary cap era. That's fantastic. I mean, that's something else. And they came up a little short. I mean, when you fall behind 3 games to 1 to this team, I mean, you might get one. I don't think, me personally as a hockey fan, I was hoping for a Game 7. I really was. Because, I mean, there's nothing better than the Stanley Cup Final in Game 7. So, I mean, selfishly as a hockey fan, that's what I wanted to see. But, I'll tell you what, these guys, they played well. They played incredible. They were the best team in the entire playoffs. They really were. And I figured, being, I might as well, because here's obviously my playoff bracket. And of course, if you look, you go through it. There's the first round. They sweeping the Nashville Predators. Then they beat the St. Louis Blues in 6, and then beating the Edmonton Oilers, sweeping them, and then the the Tampa Bay Lightning, beating them in 6, and there's your 2022 Stanley Cup champions. Their first title. Their first championship since 2001. Now, of course, I'm not the greatest drawer in the world. That's not the best drawer in the world, which actually I forgot a couple things on this logo here in the top. Okay. There we go. There. Make it a little better there. I was missing the couple of lines that were right there. But yeah. And they are a perfect 3-0 in the finals. They've made the Stanley Cup Finals 3 times, and they are now 3-0. They've won 3 Stanley Cups, and they're what a team. And again, it goes to show, it pays sometimes to be bad. It pays sometimes to be a bad team, because these guys throughout the 2010s were not real good. Which, actually, let me see. I keep forgetting when it came to their core, who they got, or when they got these guys. Okay, they got Landeskog in 2011 at a number 2 as a number 2 overall pick. They got McKinnon as a number 1 pick in 2013, and then Rantanen. They actually had a decent season there. I mean, let me go through these records. I know I did an earlier video talking about their records, but 2010, 2011, they weren't real good. They were 30, 44, and 8 68 points. Obviously, no playoffs. But in the draft lottery, they drafted number 2. And at number 2, they drafted their captain, Gabriel Landeskog. And that was the start. That was the start of this team being built into the team that they are now, which I have said to friends of mine, I wanted the Minnesota Wild to do. Be bad for about 5 years and be able to build a team like this, because none of the guys that they drafted during this period of time, not one of them was a bust. They hit on every single one of them. 2011, number 2 pick, Gabriel Landeskog. 2013, they weren't real good. They weren't real good again. That was the lockout shortened season. They only played 48 games. They had a record of 16, 25, and 7, 39 points. Obviously, no playoffs. 2013, they won the draft lottery that year. Who was that number 1 pick? Their assistant captain, the best player on the team, Nathan MacKinnon. So that's 2 parts to building this fantastic team. And then, again, in 2015, it was a decent season for them. They didn't make the playoffs, but they had a 39, 31, and 12 record. They finished with 90 points, and this is the lowest in the draft that they had gotten. They ended up with the number 10 draft pick. Who was waiting for them at number 10? Mikko Rantanen. So that's 3. That's 3 big parts. You've got MacKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog. You've already got that first line right there, pretty much right there, that is going to prove to be very, very formidable. And then in 2016, 2017, this was their really bad year. They finished with a record of 22, 56, and 4. 60 losses these guys had, a total. When you combine the overtime shootout losses with the regulation, 60 losses. They were a 60-loss team. They didn't get the number. They didn't win the draft lottery though. They ended up number 4. And the guy they drafted, I look back and I still say Philadelphia Flyers, what the hell were you thinking? What were you thinking? How do you not take Cale Makar? You go and you draft Nolan Patrick. Now, I mean, there was some good, there was a couple of good, Dallas passed on Makar too, but Dallas drafted, Heiskanen. They drafted Heiskanen at 3. So, it wasn't an awful first 3 picks. Well, 2 of the picks weren't too bad. Philadelphia, I don't know. I still, to this day, I don't know what they were thinking to let this kid, Cale Makar, slip through their fingers and slip down to number 4 to the Colorado Avalanche. He just won the Conn Smythe Trophy. The youngest defenseman in over 50 years to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. Philadelphia, he could have been on your blue line. Cale Makar could have been a Philadelphia Flyer if they'd have been smart enough to see what this kid could do. But they didn't do it. He fell right into Colorado's lap, and look what they've done. That was the real bad year. They lost 60 games that year. And then just a couple years later, in 2018, 2019, this is a pretty good year. They make the playoffs. They were 38, 30, and 14. They finished with 90 points. Oddly enough, 90 points in 2014-15 was not good enough to get them in the playoffs. But in 2018-2019, 90 points was good enough to get them the number 2 wildcard spot. They lost in the second round, but the way the draft lottery was, something I think they got the number 4 pick, because even though they made the playoffs, you're thinking, how did they get such a high pick? That was the Duchesne trade. I think that was the Duchesne trade that they made to Ottawa, and it was a lottery protected pick. So Ottawa protected that first pick, but not the second year. So what was Ottawa's draft spot went to Colorado. So even though Colorado made the playoffs, they took Ottawa's draft spot at number 4, and there's Bowen Byram. So there is your main catalyst to this group. And they built them through the draft. They built them through some really lean years. Joe Sakic, people were wondering if Sakic was going to lose his job. They were saying the same about Jared Bednar, the coach, and Sakic basically said, just believe in this, and the ownership, the ownership and everything, they did, and look what they turned into. The early 2010s, even into the later 2010s, that first part of the 2010s, that's their core. That's their core that they draft. McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen. And then you get Makar, because Philadelphia, for whatever reason, didn't see Makar's value. He's only the youngest defenseman to win the Conn Smythe Trophy in over 50 years. Absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal player. And like I said, this is what I've wanted the Minnesota Wild to do. I had said this for the longest time, especially when I saw McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog as good as they were, and as what they have turned into the last couple of years. This is why I wanted the Wild to be, a bad team for about 4 or 5 years, which I know is frustrating for fans. It is frustrating to see your team be bad for so long. But every one of those draft picks, Colorado hit a home run. A home run, not a bust to be had. I mean, when you've got some of these players, some of these really good players that are coming up in the draft that are 18 years old, 19 years old, as good as they're talking about. I mean, Cale Makar, they were comparing him to a young Ray Bourque in 2017. Again, how the Philadelphia Flyers pass on him is beyond me. You got a kid who they're projecting to be the next, oddly enough, the next Ray Bourque. And Philadelphia passes on him. And Colorado's like, oh, we'll Cale Makar? No, we'll pick you. Yeah, come on. But yeah, they built their team through the draft, through some very lean years, some very, very lean years. The early 2010s were not good for the Colorado Avalanche. But that built them into the team that you see right now. And this team right now, they're on top of the world. They are the 2022 Stanley Cup champions. They deserve it. They earned every bit of it. And needless to say, I got the shirt and the hat. I went and ordered those. The shirt looks good. The hat, my kingdom for the hats to be made by either New Era or Reebok again. Please. Because the Fanatics hats, that lame, lazy designing. You don't even have, I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, even the NBA hats have their championship trophy embroidered into the hat. And that's a video now. I found my other hats, so I can do a full. I can finally do a full look of Stanley Cup apparel dating from 2010 up until 2021, because I don't think I'll get the 2022 stuff that's going to be at least a couple of weeks. But I found those other hats, and I can finally do a video on those showing the Stanley Cup apparel and showing the devolution of the designs of the hats and just how bad they have gotten ever since they went to Fanatics. Ever since Fanatics started making all the stuff, the hats have just been, they've been lazy, they've been lame. 2018 and 2019 weren't bad. They weren't horrible. But the last 2 years, 2020 and 2021, and now with the 2022, awful. Awful designing, everything. You'll get to see that when I do that video, because I'll have the hats and the shirts, because I have all the Stanley Cup shirts also. So that'll be a fun little video to do, because I've wanted to find. There were 5 years worth of hats that I was missing. I was missing 2013, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And fortunately, my daughter and I, we were helping kind of clean some stuff out of the closet back in the other room. And she went found the box that had all my hats in it, and she goes and is like, "Daddy, I found a box full of hats." And I'm thinking, yeah. I'm like, cool. I was like, I'm like, hand that to me. So I go and I take it, I look through it, and there they are. I mean, finding a lot of old hats that I had, a lot of older hats, but there were my Stanley Cup hats that I had been looking for. And I figured they were somewhere. I figured they were somewhere buried back in that closet, and they were. And she found them, and she handed me the box, and I put the box on the bed. And I'm starting to grab the hats, and I'm looking. I mean, I'm finding all kinds of cool, all kinds of neat hats. I found my Hockey Hall of Fame hat. I haven't seen that in years. That was cool. That was a cool find. So I found those 5 years worth of hats, and so I'm very, very, very happy for that, because now I can do that Stanley Cup apparel video from 2010 to 2021. And then, of course, when I get the stuff for 2022, I will unbox those here on the channel so you guys can see that. And yeah. And, I'm pretty sure a lot of you will have seen how bad, you've already probably seen what the design for the Avs Stanley Cup hat looks like. But when I get that, you guys will get an up close view of it. Like I said, the shirt actually looks cool. The shirt is cool. If they would have done the hat the same as to how they did the locker room shirt, that would have looked cool. That would have looked really cool. If you could have had the Stanley Cup logo, the patch that they had this year, you could have had that. You could have had that on there with the Avalanche logo, and then on either side or up above, it could have, Stanley Cup champions, something. You could have made it look halfway decent. But again, it's Fanatics, and they're just lame with their designing. So that'll be fun. That'll be a cool little thing to get. The shirt I definitely look forward to. The hat, of course, you guys will get a look at that. But it will be really fun to be able to finally do that Stanley Cup apparel. That is a video. I will probably do that here in the next day or so. And because that's a video I've been looking forward to doing for a while. And I'll finally be able to do it. Now that I've found all the hats. I have all the Stanley Cup hats from 2010 all the way up to last year. 11 years worth. And I've got shirts out there because I get the shirt and the hat every year. It's just, like I said, I'm just an overall hockey fan. I love the sport. And, that's why this channel is so fun. Because I'm just an overall hockey nut. And that's another video that I will probably get into, especially during the off season, is my hockey fandom. Where it started, where it started and how it developed over time. That will be a fun video to talk about too. That might be a long one. That might be a long one. I'm not sure, but because once I get talking about stuff, I sometimes can just go. As you guys have probably seen on the channel, I've got some long videos because I have a tendency to ramble. I love the sport that much, and it happens. But that will be a fun video to do during the off season, talking about my fandom, how it started, and how those playoff brackets, how I started, how I started those, and how I learned how to design them. That'll be fun to talk about in that video too. So those are a couple of videos that I look forward to doing here, especially in the off season. That the Stanley Cup apparel one is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys will tune into that. I hope you guys will take that little ride with me, and again, I thank you guys so much for tuning in. If especially for my subscribers that I have, I'm so thankful for you guys, and even a lot of the people that that have just they just kind of tune in now and then, because there's a little over 50% of the people that watch the videos that are not subscribed. So hopefully, hopefully maybe at some point they'll get there. But the fact that that a lot of people tune into it. People look at the channel, people tune into it, and hopefully they like it. And again, if you're just seeing the channel for the first time, check it out. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, hopefully you'd think I've done a good enough job to earn a subscribe from you guys. Hopefully. But yeah, so like I said, hopefully you guys will enjoy these upcoming videos. Hopefully, like I said, if you're new, check out some of the other ones. Hopefully you'll like those. If you like them good enough, hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. I love all of you. And again, a hearty congratulations to the 2022 Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche. And that's another video I plan on doing too. They've got some off-season decisions to make that are going to be real interesting. and I plan on doing a video talking about that here in the off season also. So again, congratulations to the Avalanche on winning the Stanley Cup, the 2022 Stanley Cup, and don't let Nicolas Aube-Kubel carry the cup again. He is skating over. They're going to do the picture. He's skating over, and he's trying to slide in. He's trying to slide in to make it look dramatic or whatever. He slides in, but he slips. The base of the cup hits the ice, and he puts a big dent in it. So the bottom of the Stanley Cup has got a nice little dent in it now. That, it's not the first time that thing's been dented. But yeah, so Aube-Kubel put a dent in the Stanley Cup, and so before any of them get a chance to tour around with it, they got to hammer that out. So, but again, congratulations to the Avalanche on the 2022 Stanley Cup, and again, hopefully you guys will enjoy the future videos. Hopefully, if you're new, hopefully you've enjoyed this one. And if you enjoy it good enough or well enough, hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, those couple upcoming videos, those are going to be real fun to do. And hopefully you guys will all tune in. And again, congratulations to the Avalanche. I will talk to you guys again later.